the last we were doing was the 23rd verse. Rudranam Shankaraschasmi Vittesho Yaksharakshasam Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Shikharinamaham. Of Rudras, I am Shankara. Shankara, as we interpreted, Shankara is the one of the deities of destruction. So what we explained was Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara are the three deities symbolizing creation, maintenance, and destruction. So the three powers that are manifesting in the world, so the manifested powers are expression of the unmanifest Brahman. The Brahman is unmanifest. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara are the manifested powers of the unmanifest reality. So 11 deities of destruction, of them Shankara is the too much sound, man. Then we learned as Vittesha of Yakshas and Rakshasas. Vittesha also refers to Kubera. Kubera is the lord of wealth. So one who is the lord of the extroverted people. So a man who is running after wealth, we said, is said to be monstrous. One who runs after the wealth, one who worships the wealth is said to be an asura or a rakshasa. So therefore they always say one who ostentatiously displays his wealth is said to be a rakshasa. Then that's where I think we last left. Then he said, I am Pavaka. Of Vasus, I am Pavaka. Vasus refers to the demigods, the inferior gods. Vasus also refers to Anala. Anala is the fire god, regarded as the mouth of God, which refers to speech. Speech is associated with fire in the scriptures. Of the mountain Meru, the mythological mountain. Okay, let's move on. We'll take 24. Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam vedhi partha bruhaspatim senani namaham skandaha sarasamasmi sagaraha. Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam vedhi partha bruhaspatim senani namaham skandaha sarasamasmi sagaraha. Of the household priests, so Partha, know me as the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Skanda. Of lakes, I am the ocean. Purodhasam, of household priests, I am Brihaspati. So Brihaspati is the chief of the household priests. He is the most illustrious son of Maharshi Angiras, the preceptor, the gurus of Indra. So he is the chief amongst the celestials. So the family priests of gods is considered as the greatest repository of knowledge and learning. Know me to be the chief, Brihaspati. In fact, colloquially also we say, no, a person is talking too much, they say, na Brihaspati apani. Huh? This is the reason. When you talk too much, you should not talk too much. I didn't mean you, Jayama. It may be applicable also, but I didn't mean of you. Correct, huh? 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 No, I don't want to abuse the right. Of generals, I am Skanda. Skanda refers to Lord Subramanya, the second son of Lord Shiva. He is said to be the top generals of all the gods. Now, one thing you find, all gods have a weapon of destruction. They hold on to a weapon of destruction. You find Lord Rama always holding on to a bow and arrow. Subramanya holds on to a spear, isn't it? Now, why do they hold on to a weapon of destruction? Why do you find gods needing to hold on to a weapon of destruction? What's the symbolic representation? The symbolic representation is to axe the ignorance or to remove all negativities or imperfections. Here in the context, destroy all vasanas. So as a weapon of destruction, only to destroy the negativity. And the negativity in us is our own ignorance, vasanas. And Subramania's vehicle is peacock. And the significant characteristics of a peacock is it has vanity. So one who is, and the color of a peacock is blue, which symbolizes infinity. So one who is riding on something which is infinite is trying to suggest to us that you must get over the vanity of your individuality and gain the vanity of the infinite. Only symbolic. So you must renounce your false vanity of who I am, of who you are, and develop the vanity of the infinite self, which is represented by the blue color of the peacock. The peacock is clutching the snake. It's not destroying the snake. It doesn't kill the snake. It's holding on to the snake, which means the ego is kept under check. The snake is the ego. The snake represents the ego, and the peacock holding the ego means keeping the ego in check. The poison of the snake is harmless to the snake. Similarly, the mind is harmless as long as it's turned inward. Only when the mind is turned outward, it's dangerous. But as long as the mind is inward, it's all right. So the extroverted vanity of I and my destroys us. When the mind goes outward, you gain the vanity of I and my. So the peacock holding the snake, keeping under control, means you must have your ego and vanity in check. Of lakes, I am the ocean. Sarasamasmi Sagaraha. The largest body of water. As we all understand this, that he is only taking the best of all and says where all you can find Brahman. So he's taking the top mountain, Meru, he said, the Skanda, the chief generals, the household priests, Brihaspati. So he's taking the best of all only to identify Brahman in it. 25. Maharshinaam Bhruguraham Giramasmekamaksharam Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi Stavaranam Himalayaha Maharshinaam Bhruguraham Giramasmekamaksharam Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi Stavaranam Himalayaha. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of speech, I am the monosyllable Om. Of Yajna, sacrifices, I am Japa Yajna, which is the sacrifice of chant. Of immovables, the great Himalaya. I am Bhrigu of the great sages. There are 10 great sages. And Bhrigu is the best of all. I don't know why. Like yesterday we learned in the Upanishad, no? What was the word we learned? The Upanishad? Vasantama. Manditingla. Enna Gayatrima, what's that word we learned yesterday in the Upanishad?
Word, but among all the, this thing, the devout person who goes into the action of spreading this Atma is the greatest, like Vitteshu or something.
Huh?
The great, among all the the person who is spreads the message of this Atma to the leader of all this person.
Kriyavan. Kriyavan. Of all the great note pathingla. Of all great sages and saints, Kriyavan means one who is a dynamite, one who is a great actor, one who is actively promoting the knowledge. He says, he is amongst all knowers of truth. A Kriyavan is one who leads them all, he says. So maybe Bhrigu, there may be reasons why he said, of all great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of speech, I am the monosyllable Om. Brahman cannot be. First and foremost, Brahman is unknown. Brahman and enti. Brahman and enti ma? Huh? Sorry, sir. Brahman. Brahman ante God. Another Sanskrit word for the reality. But in our understanding, Brahman means something which we do not know. We don't know what God is. It's an unknown reality. So they give descriptions, or we use idols to identify with unknown Brahman. So Om, or the symbol or the monosyllable Om, is the symbol of Brahman. So when he says of speech, I am the monosyllable, sound is the subtlest of all idols. Why sound? Are you all with me? What we are saying is Brahman is unknown. It is the ideal. An idol is a symbol representing the ideal. Now, what he's saying is sound is the subtlest idol. An idol can be gross or subtle. You can say an idol can be gross or subtle. Of that, sound is the subtlest idol. Of sound, Om is the subtlest sound. Therefore, you can say Om is the subtlest idol. This is the thought process. So the word Om has an extraordinary significance because it associates only with Brahman. என்ன நான் சும்மா சொன்னேன் நான் சும்மா சொன்னேன் சாரிமா நான் அதான் இல்ல இந்த வேற இருக்கு சோ
in a way superior to all the idols.
So you're asking, is Om the subtlest of all idols other than all other idols, isn't it? Yeah. Sir, of all idols, sound is the subtlest of all idols. First, to clarify that. How is sound subtlest of all idols? Only one sense organ can contact, ear can contact. Earth, all sense organs can contact.
Grossest,
so when you grossest is earth. So you're making a statue or an idol in a shape is the grossest of all idols. Like we have Vinayagar there, it's an idol, but it's made of earth. So earth is the grossest. So of all the idols, sound is the subtlest of all idols.
In Chidambaram, the idol is the space.
Sir, mic for me.
In Chidambaram temple,
Hmm.
idol is the space. That is subtlest of.
Again, one of the idols.
Hmm.
Emptiness. So, of sounds, Om is the subtlest of all sound. Because Om covers the entire range of sound. What is the entire range of sound? Huh? When I say where is sound coming? It's coming from the guttural. Oo is the mediocre. Is the. What is the Nama? So the three alphabets in that mantra Om covers the entire range of sound from the guttural to what do you call that? From the guttural to the palatal. So there is no sound after you close the lips. There is no sound. There is no sound before. So it covers the entire range of sound. So it's articulate, inarticulate.
Among elements, which is the subtlest? 5 elements.
Amongst all elements, space is subtlest.
So space itself is the idol in one place.
Of all idols, space is subtlest. But then you can't associate, no? You can't relate to space. You can't. Space is indivisible. Sound travels in space. Therefore, sound and space are connected. You can't perceive space, can you? There is space between your eyes and my eyes, but we can't perceive space. But sound travels through space, so sound and space are connected that way. That's the reason sound is the subtlest of all idols. There is a connection between sound and space. Otherwise, space by itself is imperceivable. You can't conceive space. So there's a connection there. And also, sir, why is Om considered as the most subtlest idol? In any idol, whenever you have a whenever you have an idol, there is an association of thought. We have mentioned this before. Whenever you have an idol, there's an association of thought. But when you chant the mantra Om, there is no association of thought. There is no other thought other than Brahman. There is no other thought. For example, when you say Om Namah Shivaya, let's say if you try to associate Brahman with Lord Shiva, the moment you say Shiva, when you say Lord Shiva, instantly you think of a personality, you think of all the things that you associate with the form. When you say Ganesha, there is a trunk, there's an elephant head on a human body, and so on. And then you say, oh, Lord Ganesha likes food, I also like food. Suddenly, from while you are thinking of Lord Ganesha, your thoughts will go somewhere or it will go. Where it should not go, it will go. Oh, you worship Lakshmi, instantly you think, oh, how much account is there? my money is there in my account. Oh, that fellow has to owe me money. While I'm thinking of Goddess Lakshmi, I'm thinking of who all owe me money, whom I have to get, where I have to get. So unnecessary association of thoughts. But when you chant the mantra Om, there is no association of thought. There is no other thought other than the ideal that you're thinking about. Therefore, Om is the last chant that is chanted. Therefore, in the next point, he says, of yajna, of sacrifices, I am japa yajna, the sacrifice of chant. Yajna is interpreted as yogas. Yoga means, what does yoga mean? Any attempt one makes to attain the self is known as yoga. One who has attained the self is also yoga. The attempt you make to get to self also is yoga. So of all yogas, I am, you can say, japa yajna. Yeah, of all yajnas, I am japa yajna. But yajna here is interpreted as yogas. And that's what we said. Attempt to join the self is known as a yoga. So the preliminary yogas are karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. When I unite to the self through the body, it is known as karma yoga. When you try to unite to the self through the mind, it is called bhakti yoga. Through the intellect, it is known as jnana yoga. So the japa yajna is the final gateway to self-realization. So the sacrifice of chant is the last, is the best of all sacrifices. Because what is it that you're sacrificing? You're sacrificing the mantra Om before you get to the self. The last thing that you are doing while you are meditating is chanting the mantra Om. Isn't it? That's what we do. So it culminates in the single pointed chant of mantra Om. And when that chant dissolves, that's when you realize. So what am I doing when I'm chanting? Am I not sacrificing the chant? Am I not? Because he says, of all sacrificed, okay, what are the various sacrifices you can do? Sacrifice means yajna. What are the various sacrifices you can do? Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, swadhyaya jnana yajna. Dravya yajna means material wealth. The lowest sacrifice you can do is dravya, is to give money. Anything in kind you can give, dravya. Superior to dravya is tapa, is body, physical service. Superior to physical service is yoga yajna, which is emotional and intellectual service. The highest yajna you can perform is swadhyaya jnana yajna, which is giving spiritual wisdom. Now, if you take in this order of the 4 yajnas, of all yajnas, I am japa yajna, he says. So either I'm sacrificing my material wealth, either I'm sacrificing my physical body, either am I sacrificing my emotions and ideas, knowledge, or I'm sacrificing my wisdom. So of the sacrifices, the highest sacrifice is sacrifice of japa yajna. If you take in that order. In the confusion. Japa is what? When you use a japa mala, while you used to aid you in meditation, isn't it? So japa yajna is suggesting you are using the means of japa to get to the self, the last stage of performing yajna. So of all sacrifices, I am the sacrifice of japa yajna. Means, what is the last barrier between me and Brahman? The last barrier between me and God is the last thought. The last thought is taken care by through meditation. So before you reach a state of thoughtlessness, what is the last thought? Thought of home, isn't it? So when you renounce the dome, you get to the self. Is it not? So when he says japa yajna, yajna is sacrifice. So I must sacrifice that. Obviously, like don't we realize or experience when we are doing meditation, do we not bring the chant into a silence? So there is sound, there is silence, there is sound, silence, and ultimately what remains is only silence. Slowly you increase the space, come to a point where there's only silence. So once you get established in the silence, what has gone is there's no more sound. That is the sacrifice of japa. Japa here refers to the chanting of the syllable Om, the last chant. Interesting the way he looks at it. Following, Sanjay? Of the immovables, I am Himalaya, tallest of mountains. Through the history, Veda or Vedanta has been associated with the Himalayan ranges. So the knowledge always flew from the high to the low. Ashwatha sarva vrikshanam devarshinaam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitrarathaha sethanam kapilo munihi. Ashwatha sarva vrikshanam devarshinaam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitrarathaha Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. Ashwatha, the people tree, amongst all trees, I am the people tree, he says. Of the celestial sages, I am Narada. Of Gandharvas, Chitraratha. Of Siddhas, the sage Kapila. Ashwatha tree is compared to Brahman. Why do you think? Leave the translation for a moment. I think they are writing down. Correct, Ashiva, writing down. Huh? Ashwatha tree of all trees. So why is Ashwatha? What do you relate Ashwatha tree to Brahman? How can we associate? Other trees give carbon monoxide. What logic is Shivaji? Why can't I see the only Ashwatha tree gives oxygen, other trees give, what do they give, Shiva? Carbon monoxide they give. So we are going to cut off all our trees because they are giving carbon monoxide as per Shivaji. We can't hear you, Shivaji. Something you have to do. We have an audio problem. Take away, yeah.
Oh, Guruji, even in Zoom, we are not able to hear. So Shivaji is a problem.
Sir, Adi clarified at the Zepo. Your system is not a problem. You are the problem. Gayatri Ma is saying that. The problem is with you, not with your computer. Whether you are at work or whether you are in the house, problem is not computer, sir. Whatever you have, you please deal with Gayatri Ma. So the Ashwatha tree is compared to Brahman because he says of all trees I'm the Ashwatha tree. Why did he choose Ashwatha tree? Because Gautam Buddha got enlightenment there, is it? No, I'm asking a reason you say Gautam Buddha got enlightenment there. No, he also chose to sit under. Gautam Buddha got enlightened banyan tree. It's a holy. Why is it called? What are the aspects of general thing? See why people Ashwatha tree is said to live for a long period of time. It lives, I don't know how long. I'm not sure if you go 200-300 years. So it has a long lifespan. So the longevity of a people tree is associated to relatively it's eternal. It would have seen 3-4 generations. So the long span of life is compared to Brahman, which is eternal. Its branches are spread out vast, which gives shade and protection and cover, which is relating perhaps to the all-pervasive nature of Brahman, eternal and all-pervading. There are more philosophical reasons, I do not know. There could be a medical reason, I do not know. Is Ashwatha tree any medical reason? Yes, sir? Medicine for the mind. Oh, for the brain, is it? So it has also some medicinal properties. People sleep under the. Yeah, it gives. Shivaji, you are right. It gives oxygen at all times. Day and night. In the morning, right? The only tree gives oxygen 24 hours. Amazing, huh? Only tree, huh? Staggering. So there are more than one reasons. If you do research, so obviously he has chosen this because it stood out and we follow tradition. Raviji, I am trying to give wisdom here and you say people tree gives wisdom. What is this, sir? First of all, where are you, sir?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear. Where are you?
I am very much in Sainik Puri. We are leaving in 3 days' time for Boston. No, we are still in Hyderabad.
Only in
But
3
after-
days we are leaving.
On 10th, we are leaving for Boston. We'll be back by end of September. We wanted to come today and say goodbye to everybody. But we have a family lunch today we could not get away from. So I chose to see it on
We will see
Zoom.
you in the family lunch.
You are most welcome.
You can get prasadam illa inga iniki.
I know. And Preeti told
Sir,
me.
enna pannalam engaad ponume saapadradhukku na vandutten.
Most welcome, sir. Most welcome.
So I'll be very soon knocking at your door, சரிங்களா?
Certainly.
நான் மட்டும் வரேன், பரவாயில்ல. வேற யாரும் வர மாட்டாங்க, நானும் வரேன்.
நிச்சயமா நிச்சயமா உங்க.
Right, sir. So என்ன சார் நீங்க என்ன people tree gives wisdom?
In the sense, I should have said enlightenment because traditionally a lot of our great souls seem to have attained enlightenment under the people tree, except that Dakshinamurti himself sits under the Alamaram, the banyan tree.
Right.
I don't know between the two which is considered superior. I really don't know. But as you rightly said, the Buddha himself attained under people tree, though not Mahavira. I think Mahavira attained wisdom and enlightenment under the sal tree or something, one of the other trees. So but
பரவாயில்ல sir,
generally,
நான் try பண்றேன் sir. நான் try பண்றேன். People tree கீழே நான் try பண்றேன். It looks
people
like
கீழே உட்கார்ந்து meditate பண்றாங்க நிறைய பேர். இப்ப பிள்ளையார் கூட, they put under people tree.
No, they all are choosing trees now. Which tree to sit under,
The tree is important.
Correct.
Hari Om, my audio is okay?
Abba. Yes, sir.
There's no problem actually. It's all in the mind.
The problem is with you, sir, not with the computer. Sir.
Even that could be resolved. My daughter helped me to get it resolved in 2 minutes. Yeah.
What were you trying to say?
It gives 24/7 oxygen. That's why it's scientifically also it's proved that's why people sleep under that. There's no problem. Any other tree you're not supposed to sleep under it during night time. This is the only tree you can sleep.
Amazing.
So it's the most ideal for any tapas.
As usual, wrongly guiding me. நானும் கிளாஸ்ல சொல்றேன், ஓப்பனா சொல்றேன். As usual சொல்றேன். First thumb rule is I always question Jayama. I don't take anything which Jayama says. Is it true? Is it so? No, that is my job is to question. Answer she'll give. Correct. So, yes, Venkateshan sir, solungo.
There is a proverb in Tamil. அரசமரத்தை சுத்தி வந்துட்டு அடி வைத்து தொட்டு பார்ப்பாங்க.
என்னன்னா, can you speak a little louder?
There is a proverb in Tamil. அரச மரத்தை சுத்தி வந்துட்டு அடி வைத்து தொட்டு பார்ப்பாங்க. Ladies. Because it produces so much of oxygen, and whatever the inaccuracies in the garbham will get clean, and you will get pregnant immediately. That's why he said, அரச மரத்தை சுத்தி வந்தவொடனே அடி வைத்து தொட்டு பார்ப்பாங்க.
Right, got it. But have you translated for this?
Say there is a proverb in Tamil that if you make one round of arasa maram and the women get their uterus, get the oxygen intake is so much, the uterus get clean, and she will become eligible to become pregnant. She get the eligibility to become pregnant, or she is getting the energy to become pregnant.
So what we see is there are so many reasons which we do not know. Therefore, it found its place amongst all the plant kingdom. Imagine entire plant kingdom, like if this tree stands out, there is so much reasoning which we not know. That's all we can say. Thank you, sir. And of the celestial sages, Narada, as we only heard of Narada, very, very mischievous, extremely witty, very mischievous, very knowledgeable. He was also said to be of a great sage who was great help to mankind, constantly shuttling between the heaven and earth. Now, all these are mythological. Don't ask me where is heaven located. What is the postal address and pin code. Don't ask me all that. It's all mythology. It's not reality. But it's just correct. Right. So he exists. People here in the classroom believe they existed, so we will not doubt it. Of Gandharvas, Chitrarataha, a celestial musician, the master of all of them, and of Siddhas, perfected souls, sage Kapila. The Kapila Muni is the one who gave out the Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhya philosophy brought out the difference between spirit and matter. But Vedanta went one step ahead of Sankhya philosophy. One step ahead is to proclaim that both the matter and spirit will dissolve, and what will remain is the spirit, the Atman. When you become one with the self, there is no more union of spirit and matter. There's only spirit. Just giving description of the names which were relevant then. Now it may not be relevant to us. 27. Uchai Shravasamaśvanam Vethimamamrutodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanaradhipam Uchai Shravasamaśvanam Vethimamamrutodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanaradhipam. Of horses, know me as Uchchaishravas, born of nectar. Of lordly elephants, Airavata. Naranam cha Naradhipam. I am the king amongst the men. King or royalty are the best amongst men. So he's choosing the best in everything. So of horses know me as Uchchaishravas. Vaishnavi, you know, then what about Airavata? Yellow elephant, huh? White horse, no, when it's a white horse, and what about the elephant? Chacha, you only see black elephant, you never see white elephant. So Uchchaishravas, what is that? What else? Uchchaishravas and enti? It's a horse. Is it a flying horse? Entama, flying horse, huh? Me Google cheyaleda, search chesi ravali vache mundu. No, that's okay, but is it a flying horse? Uchchaishravas? Google, sir. Other day you were saying on screen, off screen you wanted to Google. Huh? Now it doesn't matter what Uchchaishravas. I think Sanjay knows the answer. Sanjay, what is Uchchaishravas? Come on, I'm sure you would have learned a lot of all this in your school in UK.
I've never heard of this, and I've never heard of the elephant neither.
You've never learned about elephant in UK?
Oh, sorry, no, this the one in this.
You know, more than Uchchaishravas and this Airavata, you know the backdrop of all this? Uchchaishravas and Airavata are connected with what? Samudra? See, the context is of the gods and demons. They were constantly at war. And they both decide that they're going to churn the Milky Ocean. Huh? They choose the mountain and the snake. What is a snake? Vasuki, yeah. Huh? They tie the snake Vasuki around the mountain. You would have seen pictures of it, Sanjay. Seen?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's like they are churning the the Milky Ocean. On one side, the entire gods, on the other side are the demons. What they were churning for is Amrita, which is immortality, nectar. But do you know when they churned the ocean, what came first? Sanjay. Only Sanjay will answer.
No, I don't know, Guruji. I don't.
You've heard of the story?
I've heard the story, but clearly I wasn't paying enough attention.
What comes when you churn the ocean? What came? There's a beautiful analogy. So on one side, is your spiritual journey. Other side is your material pursuit. Whenever you take the spiritual journey, what comes first? Huh? It starts with poison. Spiritual journey starts with poison and ends with nectar. Any material pursuit, any sensual pleasure, any material sensual life starts with nectar, ends with poison. Huh? Pleasure and pain. So when the mountain was churned, what came out first was poison. And the second point is, when you follow a spiritual path or journey, you live a life of deserve. Material pursuit is all about desire. And how do we justify deserve? When you seek the higher, lower comes to you. Vaishnavi, what is the lower here? Read the sheet. So what is the lower here? Sanjay, what's the lower here? You're following?
I'm following. Yes.
Okay, I'm explaining this in the context of the verse. So what is the lower here?
Your material wants, your material desires.
Yes, in the context of the verse. Okay, think along, Sanjay. Ashama, Junior.
So probably in the context of this verse, what he's saying, like he's the best of all the things. So probably say, like when he says, and of men, he is the king of all men. So he's referring to.
No, I'm not gone to the king. I'm only
Okay.
explaining the very first line.
Okay. So your question is like, what is it that comes when you're seeking the higher?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
What? Okay. Now, what were the gods and demons searching for?
Nectar,
Amruta. What came first was?
poison.
Does it justify? Any spiritual journey, anything you want to do good, it becomes distasteful beginning.
Hmm.
Anything you want to do, even physically, you want to, let's say you want to lose weight, you want to become healthy, you are told to live a life of abstinence. You got to cut short so many things. You got to lead a life of discipline. It is not easy. It is a painful beginning. But once you go through that journey or that phase, then you start enjoying health or benefits, right?
Yes.
So anything you want to do in your own, for your betterment, it has a poisonous beginning. That is, in fact, that is known as sattvic happiness. All your life, you're seeking sukham, happiness. But the quality or trademark of sattvic happiness, it has to be unpleasant in the beginning. But if it is nectar and poison, it is rajasic happiness. That first point clarifies that. The second point I'm saying is, you operate in this principle of deserving. And when you pursue the higher, the lower comes. So in the context of the verse, what is the lower is the question.
Yeah. So.
Okay, you know the story, Asha?
Yeah.
What came when afterwards?
Poison came. Yeah, that's what.
First poison came. After poison, what came?
That's when the nectar came.
No. Okay, think along, Ashama. Yeah, Raviji.
As far as I know, several things came, including goddess Lakshmi and Airavata.
Yes, sir. Pudusa சொல்றீங்க story இது. When did goddess
Hello?
Lakshmi come?
Sorry?
Huh?
Mahalakshmi also came from the Amrita Mantra.
Okay, I take your point.
And that is wealth. Goddess of wealth, but prosperity.
Yeah, but in the context of the verse, Uchchaishravas, Airavata, Kamadhenu, all these perks came. What do these perks symbolize? When you pursue the higher, the lower comes to you. And what is Kamadhenu?
Giver of boons.
Correct. Kamadhenu. Sanjay, Kamadhenu is a cow. And Kamadhenu was said to be fulfiller of all wishes.
Yeah.
Of your desires. So whatever you desired, Kamadhenu would have given. But in order to get what you desire, you must renounce the desire. That is the objective. When you seek the higher, seeking the higher means you are renouncing the lower, and the lower is the desire. Must get rid of your desires and attachments. So when you renounce the lower, then comes the higher. And then when you have the material pursuit of desire, what happens? Any material pursuit, there is full of pain and sorrow and suffering. When you run behind a desire, the object of desire eludes you. You want money, keep running behind money, money runs away from you. You want power, run behind power, my power doesn't come to you. And even if you have, what happens? There is no satisfaction, there is no contentment, there is no happiness. Ilya, sir. But if you run behind it, there is no happiness. But the moment you turn your back to it and say, I'm not interested in you, happiness comes to you. So whatever you want, the mere sankalpa, you'll get it. That's what it means. What does Kamadhenu mean? Kamadhenu means you will be, not that you have to open a Goshala in your house, please. There's no place for we to stay. Where would I put Goshala in the house? It's not literally opening a Goshala. What it means is you will reach a state where the mere sankalpa is enough to get what you want. Sankalpana, vishilla, thought, summa. அது பார்த்தானா அது கொடுக்கும் கிடைக்கும் இது பார்த்தா அது கிடைக்கும் கேட்க வேண்டாம் just a mere appreciation you get it. Oh, it's a nice piece of art. Apparently there was an experience which my Guruji shares. He went with his guru somewhere and he appreciated something. He went to a house where they were invited. He was invited for a meal, something. And he looked at the art piece and said, it's a beautiful piece of art. That's all he said. And when he reached ashram after the prasad and went back, by the time he reached, it was a new piece of art. So what they did, they removed it, they packaged it, and it was sent to the ashram. Then Swamiji had to call them and said, I did not want it, I just appreciated it. What do you mean? And it was a very expensive piece of art, apparently. He did not know the value. He just said, oh, it's a beautiful thing. And they thought Swamiji may find a place for it, may want it. It was packed and sent. What is that state where you reach where the mere sankalpa is enough to get what you want? But for that, you need to do enormous tapas. You must be in the spiritual field where you have dropped the lower. You are not interested in the lower. And such pursuit, then comes Uchchaishravas, then comes Kamadhenu, then comes Airavata, then comes all the gifts and all the perks, all the world will come to you. But what should be your attitude to it? Nothing to do with it. Why nothing to do with it? Okay, now I ask you, give a mic to her, sir. You rightly said, when all this come to you, name, fame, power, glory, everything comes to you. Say something.
Hello.
So the question is, when all this come in your life, it comes in a life of a spiritual person. In a material person, they don't come because this fellow is chasing them. Material fellow is chasing them. The more you run behind something, it will run away. That you know the law of life. So when it comes in a spiritual man, what should be the attitude towards them? You say, repeat what you said.
I have nothing to do with it.
I have nothing to do with them means what?
I do not. I don't long for them.
You never long for it. But when they come your way, what should you do? You did not possess it to renounce it. Only when you possess something, you renounce it. They have come your way. What should you do? Huh?
I'm
Not
interested
Huh?
in the higher, not in the
You
lower.
continue your pursuit towards the higher, being disinterested in it. Means don't get distracted by it. Now, who gets distracted by it?
Rajasic,
In the context,
one who desires those,
in the context of the story,
one who
the
doesn't
story is
get
between-
it.
no, the story is between the gods and the demons churning the ocean for nectar. Now, when all these perks came, who fell for them?
The asuras.
The asuras and rakshasas. So those who fall for these material things are rakshasas. The real spiritual people will be only seeking, like the gods only sought Amruta. They did not fall for Airavata, they did not fall for Uchchaishravas, they did not fall for Kamadhenu, they did not fall for goddess Lakshmi also. Never mind, all will come. They say, all these Rakshasas, they ran behind it. They said, wait, nectar is coming. And by the time all these Rakshasas were distracted, Amruta came, they drank, and these gods became immortality. These fellows were stuck with the perks. So from this story, what should we learn? That you should remain
Unperturbed.
undisturbed, disinterested. Be very clear with what you want to get. The higher you go,
The focus should be on your goal.
the goal is
The
immortality. The higher you go, the greater will be the temptation. Even in the corporate field, isn't it same thing? If you want to get a job from a clerical fellow, you will give him 2,000 rupees, he will do clerical job. With 2,000 rupees, you can't bribe the CEO. You will have to give 2,000 shares of a company or 20,000 shares of a company to get the job done. 2,000 rupees will not work. But the higher you go, the greater are the temptations. That must be greater the resolve that I will not fall for it. You get the point. So when he just mentions Uchchaishravas and Airavata, the philosophical meaning is far greater than just what is implied there. To say, I am not interested in this, that the more you say no, the more will come. What should you say? As Christ said, get thee behind me, Satan, he said. He said nothing, I will not buy. Somebody wanted to buy Christ for a few pieces of silver. He said, nothing doing, get thee behind me. Huh? Sorry, sir? What you resist will persist. In the sense, you keep getting drawn. But the more you say no, the more you will be in the journey. But the moment you encash, you come back to ground zero. You start from scratch again because you have encashed your sadhana. Like even in this game, no, what is the Indian version? It was I think it's an Australian program many years ago. How to become a millionaire, something, which is like now it's KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati. How the game is, you start earning points, and the jackpot is 1 crore rupee, 1 million rupees. So, whether anybody gets it on, but everybody is trying to aspire that. So you can get 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 5 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, 50 lakh rupees, and then 75, and then 1 crore. But let's say at every stage, you have a chance to quit. That fellow has never seen 25 lakh rupees, and he shows a check and say, this 25 lakh rupees is yours. You can quit it. But remember, if this answer is wrong, you lose everything. You will have to walk back empty pocket. Now this fellow is in confusion. Am I to take 25 lakh rupees? I got it because I answered 6 questions. I got 25 lakh rupees. Am I to take 25 lakhs home or go with nothing? The fellow with that resolve and say, never mind. I will only want million. I will not want to encash. The moment he encash, he's out of the game. He can't play anymore. Come back to ground zero. Exactly the same thing happens in spiritual field. You got to do again, you got to do tapas to come there. But are you going to encash a tapas only for some material perks? Please, one should not do that.
Guruji, today, even among entrepreneurs or anyone running a successful establishment from scratch, at a stage comes a lot of investors come in and they want to buy off and they give a extraordinary price and many get tempted. Even in our cities, many hospitals have been sold. Anything which has grown there because that is the dirty work others don't want to do. Very tough and it takes a long time. When it has come to a threshold level, other big sharks come and they are ready to buy. And these many get tempted and fall back because.
So the principle works everywhere. The principles are the same. Now the milky, Sanjay, are you following the context now? It all fits in, isn't it? So the mythological story and the philosophical implication all fit in the same. Asham, are you following? Junior and senior. Any Urdu proverb? Please, I know you are full of it. Ek chhodiye hamare liye.
नहीं आज नहीं है शायद
हाँ जी.
आज हाँ एक कहता है कि तेरे दरबार की आली निराली शान ये देखी, सदाकत भी तेरी गलियों के चक्कर काटते देखी, झुकाया जिसने भी सर तेरे दर पे, ऐ मेरे मालिक तुझे देता नहीं देखा मगर झोली भरी पाई. It says, I have seen the splendor and grandeur of your kingdom. I have seen many people loitering around your palace in simple robes, in all simplicity, but you have not bothered about them. Only when a true seeker, when a person comes to you in all humility, you have blessed him with everything. झुकाया जिसने भी सर दर पे तेरे, ऐ मेरे मालिक तुझे देता नहीं देखा मगर झोली भरी पाई. No one has seen you blessing that person, but his aanchal is full of all blessings.
Nice one. Very nice. Get well soon, ma. So in the context of it, the milky ocean is the mind. So when you churn the mind, what comes out first are the negativities. Then comes positivity, and once you negate the mind completely, comes immortality. And then he says, Aranam Chanarahipam. Of men, I am the king. I'm royalty, the best amongst all men. So this story appears in the Vishnu Purana, right? This story of the gods and the demons from the Vishnu Purana. All right. We'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.